We are back, my patriots, my fellow St. Martiners. We are right here in the jungles of Friars Bay, and it feels good to be in the bush. This segment is going to be a very special segment because we're going to be hardcore and we're going to be really rumbling in the jungle. Let me start by saying, James, that at present I'm very, very disappointed with many of our elected officials on both sides of the island. At present, we have elections on the French side. And up to present, I didn't hear not one political leader discuss something that is important to the native St. Martin people. You know why I'm so upset? And I understand how the other people of St. Martin feel. You are in a country, you are voting for people who have you last, are practically not on their list. And my question is this, and my feeling. Why should I go and vote for somebody who doesn't take my interest as a St. Martin, a native St. Martin person at heart, while they are more concerned about, oh, don't speak too hard, they can't hurt people's feelings. So my question and my expression, so my feeling as a native St. Martiner doesn't have no value? What do you think about this?
Well, to start with, this might be the jungle for people, but for me, this jungle is my home. So I feel extremely comfortable in the jungle, and I can survive in the jungle because I am part of the jungle. I was made of the jungle. That's what made me grassroots. I'm a real St. Martiner. We grew up, with bush tea. We grew up having to clear kosher trees and God knows what. Here you see we have a well. The well, yeah. The cows, used to get their water and stuff like that. So I'm very comfortable. I'm at home here. I think one of the problems, the main problem we have on St. Martin is the politicians themselves. I think that basic elections, as far as I'm concerned, make no sense and are just a waste of time. Because I think the politicians, the St. Martin politicians, they are not only part of the problem, they might be the problem itself.
They are the problem.
Because when I look at you, I see you're getting there, I like how you, have yourself decked out, you are a real patriot. You show that you are from St. Martin, you care for St. Martin.
Proud of it. Proud to be a St. Martin. The real native St. Martin man.
Exactly. You'll defend St. Martin at all costs. I think right now we are at a crossroads where we, as St. Martiners, we have to make up our minds whether or not we want to be patriots, as you always call yourself, or traitors.
Very good. I believe so too.
Up till now, and this is hardcore now, we ain't talking now, well, it's hardcore. This is to every politician out there. I know they're listening, I know they're looking. All St. Martin politicians, the leaders, the St. Martin people, because the St. Martin people, they want to hear the truth, they want to hear the reality, right? They don't want to hear things that basically are politically correct, which means we don't deal with the problem, we just sweep the problems under the proverbial carpet so that future St. Martiners have to deal with it. But the sad thing is that what is happening, what the politicians are doing, they have betrayed St. Martiners, they are traitors of the St. Martin cause, right? And not only they are the traitors of St. Martin cause, they are traitors of everybody who loves St. Martin as well. Because it's very clear, and that's the feedback we have been getting as well, from a lot of people who are not of St. Martin heritage, but who really care for St. Martin, who love St. Martin, and who want to be part of us, and who we want to accept, who we want to embrace as one of us. But they realize if your leaders cannot live up to the biblical or universal principle that charity starts at home, that they will never basically be able to enjoy St. Martin to its fullest. You see? And when you look at St. Martin, why is the St. Martin politicians are the problem? Is because they are cowards.
I agree with you.
When you betray your people, you betray who you are, and you pretend to be everybody else, you not only a traitor, you come across as being pure stupid. Nobody's going to respect you. Because how can anybody be respected who don't respect himself first, who doesn't take care of their own people first? You see, so what has happened as a man over the years, right, is that, and we all know it, but we do as if we don't know. St. Martin is total confusion. If you want to study confusionology, right, you come to St. Martin. Because what we have done on St. Martin is, when I say we, I mean those in power, they have turned everything upside down. Everything they have turned upside down, right? Even on St. Martin, it rains upside down, so to speak. So if you have a normal umbrella on St. Martin, it might get soaking wet. You see, the point I'm trying to make, is that St. Martin people have betrayed basic principles. Basic principles starting with, as I said, that charity should start at home. No matter how much you care for others, which you should care for others as much as you can. But you cannot care for others more than you care for people.
Let me jump in here.
And I think that's one of the problems that we have made here on St. Martin. We have allowed for people to come to St. Martin. We have not let them know that we have what you call natives in this country, and that these natives should have rights before every other person, every other immigrant that comes to this country. That's betrayal number one.
Let me jump in here a while, and I wanted people to understand it. And unlike other people, I am not afraid to call names. If you look at both Dutch and French St. Martin, who's in power, it is our own native St. Martin people. We have the Goms, we have the Flemings, and we have the Richardson, on both Dutch side and French side. We have the Arundels, some of my own cousins, And what is these people doing for the native St. Martin people? Their own family, their own brothers and sisters. Absolutely nothing. Since the Dutch side has attained country status, not even to recognize who's a St. Martiner, not even to bring the motion to the floor, to recognize your people, they refuse to recognize their very own self. How can you trust a person like that? How can you vote for people like that? It's our very own family, native brothers and sisters, that is letting us become extinct. And that is what gets me mad.
But the good news is, as a grassroots movement, you see where we are? We are at home.
We are at home.
We don't need no politician to feed us.
Definitely not.
You see? We have reached the stage where we as a people, where we as a movement are saying, politicians, you are irrelevant. When it comes to the St. Martin people and their survival, each one of you who have betrayed St. Martiners, you are at best irrelevant. At worst, you are going to have to pay the price eventually for betraying the people. Because after all, you all have encouraged St. Martin people to be the friendly people, which was great, because that is our nature basically. But you have transformed, you have encouraged us to transform that friendliness to the point where we become victims of that so-called friendliness, because you have not protected us, you have not even defined us, while you have made it your business. And whenever I listen to the politicians, all of them, recently I heard the Honorable Minister Duncan again, talking about immigration and the BTA policy and whatever. And what became very clear is that Mr. Duncan, that goes for the President of the French side, that goes for all of them. They bend backwards. They bend backwards to accommodate, right, immigrants.
No, you mean they betray the people to accommodate immigrants.
Exactly.
It's a difference. Exactly. Betrayal and bending backwards is a big difference. They betray the native St. Martin people in order to please immigrants.
Exactly. So we have to explain the situation, because the situation in St. Martin, and the thing is, Everybody knows St. Martin. You know, we have a lot of friends who are immigrants, who are naturalized people. A lot of them are great people, people that we love very much.
That is true.
But they know as well that what happens on St. Martin is not normal.
It's not logical.
It's not normal. It's not normal. It is not natural.
That's the word.
Natural is that you love the whole world. You could go to Mars and make sure your people love you from Mars. But you know what? After you love your own people first. But in St. Martin, that has been turned upside down. That is one of the things that we have done different than anywhere else in the world on St. Martin. That's one. Two, what we have done on St. Martin is we have given immigrants, you know, the
special rights.
Not only special rights, we have given them the notion, and this is going to backfire on St. Martin government as well as on the immigrant, because we are not true to each other. Listen, when you are immigrant, basically you go to a country, you look for work. You go and look for work, you know, you don't go to replace the people. You don't go to fight the people for the same rights. That's not the reason, because you have a homeland as well. Our politicians have never told the people that come here, listen, you are welcome here, you know, once you have something to offer, as long as we need you. As long as we need you, as long as there's work, as long as you are an asset, you are welcome to stay here. But when there is no more work, when there is not even enough for the own people on the island, as well as the own people abroad who want to come back, then it is time to go home.
Let me jump in here, Mr. Jim. I think last year, you know, we have the well-known political leader known as Judas.
I think I know who you mean.
William Marlin. Here is a guy again that willing gone to Holland for Holland to educate immigrant children. But yet, he refused to recognize the native St. Martin people.
Not only that,
you tell me, isn't that traitor? That's a traitor.
He's a traitor, he's ungrateful, and I find, you know, he doesn't deserve to be a parliamentarian of the country called St. Martin. Because Mr. William Marlin, we take tremendous offense to you being there. After all, you have said you are proud of your Guyanese heritage, which we are glad you are proud. You should be proud of that part of, you know, your parents' heritage. But where are you member of? Which country? Are you member of Parliament of Guyana or St. Martin? We take this as an insult, Mr. Marlin, that you are proud to be of, you know, partially of Guyanese heritage, but you don't know who is a St. Martin, nor do you care to know who's a St. Martin. But in the meantime, you are living fat off being a member of Parliament of St. Martin. You are a total traitor, and this is totally unacceptable, and you are going to have to give an account for that sooner or later.
Another one too, even our very so-called Prime Minister, Phil Westcott, a lady of St. Martin heritage, also said it once too. She cannot recognize who's a St. Martiner. So I asked myself the question, are you living or not? Because she don't recognize her own self.
So she has played a double. The Honorable Prime Minister has played a double because, of course, you know, they go with the wind and they think they fool people. And we have commended her once when she said, you know, she made a statement to the extent that the native indigenous St. Martin should be recognized and their rights should be, you know, respected in the Constitution. Something to that extent she said. We commended her for that, you know, and we were attacked by the Alliance for commending her. And we said, listen, no, we commend her for what she said, especially knowing where she come from. But at the same time, you know, Honorable Prime Minister Cyril Westcott Williams, you know, we are not exactly doubting, you know. We know you said it because it was convenient to say it at that time. But clearly, you know, this was just a gimmick, you know, and we are keeping a very close eye on what you are doing too, and it's going to come to haunt you sooner or later as well. But having said all of that, what I think is very important is, that's why this type of discussions I think is very important. You know, that's why people have been asking us to discuss these issues, you know, not because we know it all, but because at a certain moment, the politicians refuse to discuss the issues that really are essential to build a sustainable society. You know, because if you want to build a sustainable society, if you say you're ready for a country status and whatever, blah, 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 you have to be mature enough to discuss some very sensitive issues. And if you are not willing to discuss them, it means one thing: you were not ready. Yes, you're ready to fill your pockets, and that's what you have done. You see? So I think it's very important to have these type of discussions, and I'm very much, prepared to share, and to entertain these type of discussions, because you see, it's about us, it's about our existence, it's about our future, and we have reached a point where we are not going to roll over and play dead because politicians don't want to deal with issues.
For sure, I won't do that.
So I think the good news is that we ourselves now, and I'm very happy and glad that we have this means now, because this was one of the reasons for years, that we could not bring our message across, and why a lot of St. Martins as well, were afraid to speak out, because if you look at the media was in the hand, and still is in the hand, mainly of foreigners, of non-St. Martiners. Not that they are bad people, but the fact is, it's not necessarily directly in their interest to discuss issues of importance to St. Martin people, because a lot of them are here at the expense of St. Martin people. So we are very happy that we have now a very independent means. We have, this platform now, this website. We are going to be taking it to the next level. People are going to see improvement as we go along. Where we do our own videotaping, where we communicate with St. Martins and others, abroad. So we now have a means to respond. And politicians are going to notice that it's not going to be business as usual, where we're going to sit back and wait till politicians feel comfortable or feel that it's convenient for them now to pay attention to us. They are going to have to deal with us, as time goes by.
One of the main issues that also really upset me, some people were saying that we are St. Martin, part of the Dutch country. And recently, I think, 2 years ago, Deputy Prime Minister said they're going to start a village built at the harbor of Dutch heritage. So my question is this: what about St. Martin heritage, Mr. Helliger? What about the St. Martin heritage? We always willing to bend backward to please an outside entity. But the St. Martin people, yes, the St. Martin people, they don't have no rights. Always willing to be and please any foreign interest. But the people who you're supposed to defend, you don't bend backwards to please them. And that's what I'm saying. If you really want to help immigrants, then you should go work for the UN. No, St. Martin. Sure. We are a national country. We have to have national love of country and patriotism. If we don't look out for ourselves, who is going to look out for us? That's where we come. That's where we come in.
That is so true, because I read a newspaper today. I don't know if you read that article. I didn't really, go in detail and read it. But what I understood is that Holland, of which we are equal partner, right? And
supposed to be.
According to the law, we are all equal.
Supposed to be.
We are all equal under the Dutch law, basically.
In theory.
But apparently, for the Dutch, that's not the case in reality. Because here you have the VVD, right, in Holland, which is a very conservative political party. They have they are proposing a law that will set certain conditions for Antillians, for St. Martiners, for instance, and Curacao and Bonaireans and what have you, to have residence in Holland. Imagine, for us, in the past, Holland was our motherland, Holland was our country. We could go and live in Holland as we please. But apparently they are realizing, no, you are a different Dutch. You are different Hollanders.
You mean different heritage?
You are different. You are different. And according to their law, they want to make it very clear that, it wouldn't be possible, if it's up to them, for Antillians to come to Holland and settle just like that, just like any European Dutch person. That would be out of the question. The point I'm trying to make is Holland is making sure they can talk as nice as they want, but they are making very sure to protect the heritage. They make very sure that they set conditions to whoever comes to Holland, you adjust to them.
I respect them for that. I respect them for that.
The point isn't that we disagree with them. We totally agree with them. We totally agree with them. The point is, if you don't take care of your own people, you can't blame others for taking care of their own people first.
That's right.
See? So we have decided that we are going to discuss the issues that are relevant
to our people, our native St. Martin people.
And you know, we don't want to necessarily endorse any political party, especially with the upcoming you know, election on the French side. We have been asked by a number of people because so many people are confused. So many St. Martins are confused because when they look at the political parties, you look at the political parties on the Dutch side, on the French side now. French side, you are going to have about 5 to 6 parties contesting the election in March. But St. Martin people are saying, what's the difference? They all are the same. They all are the same. People are confused because what we do see though, and this is something I think is very important. You see a lot of, I would call it educated fools, you know, also in politics. I don't want to call names right now. But when I say educated fools, I mean this. When you have been, when you have had the privilege, you know, of achieving and obtaining, you know, a certain degree of education, I think that should empower you to make sure that you work in the interest of your people.
That's correct.
But you have some educated fools, right, who look at St. Martin, right, strictly from their specific professional specialty. So whether they are accountant, they look at St. Martin only, you know, from that point of that vantage point.
They're self-interest. They are self-interest.
You know, just as an accountant. But I am saying, if you do that, you're an educated fool. Because if you don't look at the big picture to make sure that St. Martiners are part of whatever, then basically you could be, as a matter of fact, you know, part of destroying St. Martin people.
That's correct.
If you don't make sure, and here's where I make my position very, very clear as a professional. I'm a professional. You know, I had the privilege of studying. I have a very high degree, I should say. And one thing I always make it very clear, in the development of St. Martin, where do St. Martin people fit in this? If St. Martin people don't fit in it, I am against it. I'm opposed to it. Yes, I don't want to be part. I don't want to have a beautiful St. Martin, nice environments, you know, with budgets that are perfectly in order, nice streets, nice everything. But guess what? No St. Martiners. I don't want part of that St. Martin. The St. Martin I would promote is St. Martin, where St. Martins are recognized, number one, and where St. Martins come first. In that context, I want to also warn politicians, stop fooling the people. Stop fooling the people when you say, you know, you want to do this for St. Martin, you want to do that for St. Martin. That is fooling the people. I explain what I mean with that. When you talk about St. Martin, in terms of society, there's no one St. Martin. If there's one St. Martin, there won't have been a Chinese association, Indian association, Haitian association. St. Martin, in terms of society, is fragmented. So when you say you want to bring this for St. Martin, you are betraying everybody. You are lying to the St. Martin people. You know, for us, if you don't specifically say you are for the St. Martin people, right? Then don't waste your time. So that notion about St. Martin is a total nonsense, because this St. Martin society does not exist.
Let me say this here too. My people, ask yourself this question. Are you better off now than you was 4 years ago? No. The question you have to ask your politician, what specifically you have to help your native people? What's the purpose of being French? And the French native St. Martin has no help. We don't want not only our CAF money, we want to be people, a proud people that can produce and work for ourselves, that can be recognized as people worthy of living. Give us the tools and privilege to help ourselves and our people. Give us the education to come back and help our people. You see, saying French is one thing, saying Dutch is one thing. The reality is a nationality. But who you are as an identity, you are a native St. Martin person. And if you are living in a system and voting in a system that's going to eradicate you, you might as well go to another country. So we have to start looking out for our people first, and everybody else is welcome. What is happening right now is that we are pleasing everybody else, and whenever it comes to the St. Martin people, the native St. Martin people, somehow you become prejudiced, or it's wrong. And that mentality has to stop, and it's going to stop now. Give me your view.